Now my mother comes into the picture, Kay O'Connell. So she didn't come from a theatrical family at all. My grandmother ran the post office in Williamstown, very near here, and my grandfather was inspector on the trams. So I don't know where her artistic talent came from. We never quite know. Maybe this, because I don't know the Cavan side of the family so much. But she was very artistic, and she went to Sign Hill, and she wanted to go to art school. But when she was 15, she was brought to the Gate Theatre, and she saw Death Takes a Holiday with Michael Claymore, and she was completely theatre struck. So she was absolutely determined to get to work in the theatre. So she finished her time in the art school, and then she asked Michael Claymore to take her on as an assistant designer, which she did, and she became assistant to Molly McCune. So there she was, anyway, painting her sets when my father, Julie, arrives in the white corduroy suit and the harp. And she took one look at him and thought, this is another fruitcake coming into this company. But, however, the romance kind of blossomed. And very romantically, I mean, you talk about your candlelit dinners and your champagne and everything. This was in Cafola's across the road over beans and toast. And my father proposed. Actually, my father was always proposing. I have met more ladies at funerals now who said, last time I saw your father, he proposed. But he liked proposing, but the next day he always sent them a letter. But anyway, my mother obviously was more, she was holding on more than any of the others. So when he proposed to her, her answer was, don't be daft. And because they really were earning, I suppose, £7 between the two of them, you see. However, the whole company took it on board to get this wedding underway, particularly the wardrobe master. And he found the engagement ring, which I wear. Actually, it's a beautiful ring in wines, and they bought it for £7, so that was 1 week's wages gone. And then he also designed the dresses, and beautiful dresses. And the bridesmaids were two of her school friends from Sign Hill. And they were very unhappy with the dresses he designed because they were beautiful pale pinks with a big cowl. But they were kind of skin tight, and he wouldn't let them wear knickers, and they were very upset. So, anyway, the wedding was in University Church, and of course again it was theatrical because Michael McLearmore was the best man, the green carnation, and he was, if you look at the photographs, he's posing, you know the way he used to pose, and Hilton was the chief usher. And he kept going in and out of the sanctuary saying, I'll check the front of house, dear. So they had a reception in the Unicorn, and they had a great time. It was had by all. And of course weddings didn't go on at night, it was more breakfast. So it was the afternoon, and away they went in a taxi to Portmarnock, and they had afternoon tea, and they came home in the bus. So, again, you know, actors never miss a gig, or musicians. So my father left my mother in the flat in number 1 Hervey Street that they had, and he went off and did a gig in the Gresham. So it was a wonderful first night of the wedding. And but they went off to Roundstone then for the honeymoon, and had a wonderful honeymoon there. And he brought the harp with him, and he used to play the harp in the harbour there in Roundstone. Everybody thought they were part of a troupe. But the wonderful thing is, 2 years ago, Cormac and I went back to Roundstone to the festival there, and we performed in a very crumbly church, wasn't it?
It was drafty.
We asked her to have a glass of water, and there was no water, it was nothing. But it was a lovely concert, but the harp returned. It returned 70 years later. Isn't that what it's lovely? It just feels like a person, it pops around with us now. So anyway, they had a wonderful time in Roundstone, and the harp was played there.